Hey guys, it is Abby. How are you guys doing? We are road tripping with Abby. Today we are on a road trip to visit some of our friends in the Cincinnati area of Ohio. So I decided to look along the route that we were taking to get there and see if there were any parks of interest that we could stop at and record a few videos and see if there's anything of interest. And I found this one in a city called Miamisburg. It's south of Dayton, Ohio. And I thought it was kind of interesting because it is like supposed to be like the largest Indian burial mound. Apparently this area is very rich for its roots to that native culture. And so I thought I'd bring you some videos from here. I'm gonna switch over and show you some. It's not a very big park and there's not a whole lot here, just some picnic shelters and a playground, and then the mound and a view of like the Dayton area. But anyway, here's something that's located on thing. Apparently it's a state memorial. You guys can pause the video if you like and read about it. But anyway, here's the view from the park itself, and here's the mound. Not a whole lot going on there. Looks like you can climb to the top. I really have no desire to do that, I'll be honest. And it looks like there's a golf course back there. I don't know if you guys saw that. It looks right there. But yeah, so let me get situated and we'll start our video. I'm sure this all has been very exciting for you, me getting set up. I might cut this out, I don't know. Or maybe you guys find it entertaining and amusing. Who knows? Any rate, here we are. Another beautiful sunny day in the lovely Miamisburg? I don't know. Anyway, this town that has a burial mound in it. So, yeah, here we are And today we have, I think, a story from Pam and Bruce. So life is good. Yeah, this is how we're rolling today. Life in the video world isn't always perfect, I guess. That's what editing's for. Got my gray lighter. Alrighty, we're lit. We're ready to roll, I think. Get your life together, Abby. Any rate. Okay. Okay, so when we last left you with Pam and Bruce, Pam had was devastated and learned that Bruce had done some pleasuring himself, and she was kind of disappointed and upset. So she wrote in, and I guess there was an apology to Miss Grace, his secretary. So here we go. It says, on Friday night after my devastating visit with Grace Thursday afternoon, Bruce came over to my house. He arrived with a carton of the Virginia Slim 120 cigarettes and a bottle of my favorite red wine. As I did not see him Thursday night, I had not been able to put him back in his device. For the last 2 days, he has been free range. I accepted the cigarettes and the wine. He could tell I was upset. I said I was fine. Men never get that. Fine does not mean I am fine. I told him I wanted to play and we needed to start with him in chastity. I had the device ready to put on him before he arrived. Very quickly I removed his belt and pulled his zipper down. I put on his device before he began to swell. The lock made a very satisfying sound. I tugged on the lock to make sure it was correct. Seeing his prints now behind bars made me feel better. My talk with Nurse Rachel had given me many ideas for his punishment during the weekend. I took out a Virginia Slim 120 and had Bruce light me. I took his left hand and led him to my bedroom. He could only take small steps as his pants were down around his ankles. He wanted to pull them up, but I said no. As he watched me smoke, I changed into my red corset, red 5-inch heels, red wig, and use my red long cigarette holder. He knows when I put on my red wig, he is in trouble. I smoked my first 2 cigarettes as Bruce looked after my needs, my wants, repeatedly. I must admit, seeing Bruce and his device with his skin pushing out through the steel bars is a very pleasant look. He cuddled me as I came down. About 10 minutes passed, and he asked if there was anything else he could do for me. I knew what he wanted. He wanted out of his device. I said, yes, why don't you masturbate for me like you did in your office Wednesday morning? His face said it all. Don't deny it, Grace saw you. She was very upset. You have upset a very nice lady. She did not need to see your perversion. You were looking at the lady smoking on the patio, weren't you? Do not deny it. I looked after you before you left for work on Wednesday morning, and this is the way you respect me? He knows never to lie to me. What did you think you were doing? Did the feel of the prince not remind you that what you were doing was now very wrong? If your boss Margot had caught you, she would have fired you. I reached for a Virginia Slim 120, and he tried to light me. I said, no, you will have to earn the privilege of lighting my cigarette. I used my lighter and pretended it did not work, just to make him feel inadequate and useless. I did a deep inhale and a nose exhale. On Monday morning, we will both go to your office and you will give a full and sincere apology to Grace and beg her forgiveness. He agreed that what he did was very wrong and that he would apologize and ask Grace's forgiveness. I said, no, you will beg her forgiveness. I put in the begging forgiveness part. During Bruce's Tangoless weekend, he gave me a wonderful foot massage with a happy ending and painted my toes. On Sunday, instead of our normal shaving and then afternoon delight, I introduced Bruce to water sports on our back deck. And I don't mean the behind the boat kind of water sports. He will never stand by his treasured barbecue again. See my stain on the deck and not think of his humiliation and punishment. I phoned Grace and we set up the time for his apology and the details. I did not smoke around him on Saturday or Sunday as I wanted to punish him, not reward him. As his new job requires him to be at his desk when the New York stock market opens at 9:30 a.m., he needs to be at his office before 7:30 because of the different time zones. Bruce and I arrived at his office just after 7:15 a.m. Grace was already at her desk. We all went to his office and I locked the door. All right, guys. Gotta get another one out here. Man, all those cicadas are down here too. Come on. Wind is killing me today. Any rate, I looked at Bruce and said, you know what to do, get on with it. He hung his head and said in a voice he had been practicing many times over the weekend, Grace, I am truly sorry for, say the word I said, masturbating, and I beg your forgiveness. It will not happen again, he said. Bruce, I accept your apology, but we have to make sure this does not happen again, Grace said. Bruce pulled on your pants and underwear, I firmly ordered. Show Grace my solution to your dirty problem. Bruce exposed his device to Grace, and Grace took a wooden ruler from his desk and lifted Bruce's device and then moved it side to side. It looks secure, she said. Grace held out her hand, and I gave her one of the only 2 keys we have for the device. You're giving Grace a key, Bruce said. Yes, I don't think she will ever need it, but it's important you know she has a key. The 5-minute bell sounded to let the traders know the market was about to open. We left Bruce with his pants around his ankles and walked out of his office. Grace said, let's go for a coffee. As we walked down the hall, a tall, familiar-looking lady walked towards us. Grace stopped and introduced Miss Margot, a slim lady in her mid-40s. Grace introduced me, and Miss Margot took my hand and said, congratulations on my upcoming wedding. She said, have we met? And I said, I did not think so. Oh yes, Miss Margot said, I never forget a face. It was at a costume party. I believe you were dressed as a nurse. I as an archbishop. I was at a loss for words. All I could say was, a very nice hat. Thank you, she said. You should drop by my house sometime for dinner. And she almost said cigars, but she said drinks sometimes. I said yes, I would enjoy that. Grace did not know it, but Miss Margot did rule with an iron fist. Well, more like a silicone fist. As we walked down the hall, I said to Grace, Miss? Yes, Grace said. She has never been able to keep a man. I think she has had 3, maybe 4 husbands. Grace did not realize how appropriate and yet incorrect the word keep was. Miss Margot does keep a few men. I have worked here 25 years, Margot 20, and she has never invited me to dinner at her house. That must have been quite a costume party. I said it was a fundraiser for a group that helps abused women. That was true. I then said I was a guest of another lady, and that was also true. It was a boring party. Well, that was not true. We took our coffees and sat down. Grace said, that went well. Bruce seems very contrite. Where did you get the device on short notice? Grace, I have a nurse friend that I have known for years, and she often talks about the benefits of controlling men with such devices. She lent me one. In fact, it was Blanche, not Nurse Rachel, that lent me that device. But Nurse Rachel would have lent me one after our talk in her office last Friday. Nurse Rachel even offered to lend me her personal pair of Perdizo if I wanted. I'm not sure I said that right. I explained to Grace that a custom-made chastity device that incorporated his piercing was on its way, and when he is placed in that one, she can inspect it, and I will give her one of those keys to hold. I could tell from her voice. Sorry, I lost my spot. I could tell from the tone of her voice that I had awakened something in her that had been dormant for years. I explained to her that I would tell Bruce that she could at any time and for any reason inspect his new device to make sure he was in compliance with his apology. She thanked me for my quick resolution to this problem. The coffee was fresh and very good. We talked like old friends. She told me again that she has been the executive secretary for 3 company presidents. I asked her what that was like. Did she travel a lot? Very much. All over the world, she said. She asked me if I had ever heard of the Mile High Club. I said yes. She winked and said, have you ever heard of the Mile High Club? I said, really? She said she went through 3 company presidents and 4 corporate jets. Yes, she said as she sipped her coffee. I put the dick back in dictation. I thought we should get back to Bruce, so I told her if she ever needed to leave for work without a device, if he ever needed to leave for work without a device on, I would text her and let her know that he was free range. Thanks, Pam, for the heads up. But why would you ever take it off him before coming to work? Grace, I remembered what you said on Thursday about one of your sons being sterile and shooting blanks. And I realized that I didn't want Bruce shooting blanks. Grace held my hand as I explained the problem. It was then I noticed her beautiful long red fingernails. If he is sterile, will you still marry him? Oh yes, I said. He is a great lover, and I have almost molded him to be the perfect husband. He knows I want children, so accommodations will have to be made if he is sterile. I knew Grace would understand, as accommodations had been made for her daughter-in-law. I thought to myself that Nurse Rachel's Paul could step in and help if needed. From what I saw in his office Wednesday morning, Pam, I don't think he is sterile. He has enough to get half the women in this city pregnant. Well, Grace, 95% of what you saw is produced by the prostate gland. Only a very small amount comes from his baby makers. So I have made an appointment for Wednesday at 3 after the New York market closes to have him tested at the family clinic. It's only a short 3 blocks away from this office. I am on shift every day that I could make an appointment for him. So that day I will have to send him to work unprotected. Pam, let me help, Grace said. Send him to work in his device like normal. At 3 p.m., I will escort him to the clinic. Remember, I have a key. Please, let me help you. Well, it's important we are discreet, I said. Oh, Pam, I was not going to grip his ear and march him down the street to the clinic like a naughty schoolboy. Unless you want me to, Grace said. I laughed. No, best not. I could meet him at the clinic, and once we were in the donation room, I could remove his device. He could perform, and then I could put him back in his device and send him home to you. Would you, Grace? That would take such a load off my mind. The ladies said they have magazines in the room to help, I said. Or I could accompany him into the room, Grace said. The people at the clinic do not know how old you are. I could stand in for you. Grace, you would do this? Yes, this could work. It's important that he be supervised when in the room, as he could abuse himself many times. I would think he would be too nervous to complete the donation with me watching in the room, Grace said. I reached in my purse and took out a fresh, unopened pack of Virginia Slim 120s, one from the one from the cartoon Bruce bought me on Friday night. Grace saw the Virginia Slim 120s and said she smoked this brand when she started smoking back in the 70s, but quit many years ago. I gave the pack to Grace and explained if he was having trouble, just take out one of these out of the package and pretend to smoke it. Put a little smudge of that red lipstick you wear on the filter and show him the long cigarette in your hand and those long red nails you have. You could dangle the cigarette and file your nails as he worked the problem. Tell him the sooner he finishes and you cage him up, the sooner you can go outside and enjoy this long, slim, all-white cigarette. He will not last long. Now, it's very important. Listen carefully. I said, you must put the cigarettes away in your purse as soon as he is done, or you could have round 2 on your hands. It will take long enough for him to deflate as it is, so he can go back into his device. If he sees these cigarettes even on the counter, he will not fit back in. No problem, Grace said. I have the solution to that, and I will bring half a bag of frozen peas from home. Oh, Lord. Got ants crawling all over me. Urgh. I have a little fridge freezer in my office at work. I used to do that to my twins. Abby, I swear I will never eat frozen peas at any lady's house again. Grace, that would be wonderful and help me a lot. How can I ever thank you? Pam, you've put your future husband in chastity because I complained about his nasty behavior. You have awakened a feeling in me I have not had for many years. No, I should thank you. You have made a dried up old lady feel, well, frisky again. We hugged, she took the cigarettes, and we parted, and I returned home. As this was a day off for me, I got into my housecoat, made a coffee, and went out on the cool deck for a nice, relaxing, quiet cigar. I saw the slight stain I made near his barbecue, and I smiled. I finally have the time to read the book Abby you talked about. She Comes First by Ian Kerner on my tablet. I think I have this under control now. Don't you just feel better when your problems are solved? Yes, I have to say yes. Very interesting. And don't read that book too fast, Pam, because I'm only about halfway through. I've been a slacker, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't got any further. So yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up on that so that I can talk about it and give my opinion of it here on the channel, because I haven't forgot that it was recommended to me. I haven't gotten much reading in the summer. No excuses. I'm a slacker. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed the story, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.